Let's continue the conversation on fund flows, Nate. ETFs still on pace for yet another record year following a big July of inflows?
Yeah, so over $700 billion has flowed into ETFs overall this year, including around 120 billion in July, which was the highest monthly total this year. And so right now we're on pace for somewhere in the neighborhood of say 1.2 to 1.3 trillion dollars in inflows, which would break last year's record of 1.1 trillion. And it's worth mentioning that historically, if you look, the fourth quarter of the year is the strongest for ETF inflows. And so it's certainly possible we could see some acceleration from here. And if you drill down just a little bit further, about 360 billion has gone into equity ETFs. There's been another 230 billion into fixed income ETFs. And then the remainder is spread across things like crypto ETFs, buffer ETFs, et cetera. There are a lot of categories benefiting. And I just think we're at the point now where if investors want to express a particular view on the financial markets, any view that they might have, they can now do it using ETFs, right? If they want active management, ETFs have it. If they want crypto, they can access that through ETFs. Hedge fund strategies, option strategies, it's all available in an ETF wrapper now. And so I think, it's been a pretty good year in the markets. We've had the bounce since the April low, but I think regardless of what the broader markets are doing, there's now a place for ETF investors to go to express their views. So yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a great year so far.
Yeah, express their views long or short. If they want to use it as a hedging option or to kind of express a certain factor or a segment of the market, to your point. Matt, where are you seeing the money flow in the pre-IPO phase for private companies? So, in other words, what's the next big innovation bet that could impact the markets more broadly in the long term?
I mean, the obvious answer is AI. I think a company just has to, bring on its hat and then get $1 billion in that space is just crazy. So we do see that leading. I mean, it's a good thing in the long run. It'll lead to IPOs maybe by the end of the decade, 2028, 2029, we might get an OpenAI IPO. But it is more than just those big names. I think we're seeing a lot of companies that are going public that people don't even realize are AI companies. Heartflow last week, for example. So and not just these LLMs, but there's companies that are integrating AI into all of their solutions throughout the tech stack. Figma, another perfect example of that. So, a lot of fund flows going into AI, and I think we'll eventually and are currently seeing the IPO results of that.
Yeah, I was told that kind of one of the reasons that we had such a big pipeline buildup was there were a whole slew of companies that needed to get their AI story straight before even going public. Companies you wouldn't think about, from an AI context, but when they were going to be on the roadshow, they were going to be asked about it by investors. And so they had to get their story straight for what they're going to say. Are you using AI? You're going to be disintermediated by AI. So that's a key component of pretty much any company looking to IPO right now as well. My many thanks to Matt and Nate for joining us today. Great stuff. Remember, you can catch all of our other content at etfedge.cnbc.com. Thank you very much for watching.